David, I'll be honest. I know that's like the stock song from StreamYard, but I freaking dig it.
Let's just use it. Yeah, it's ours. It's TV Talk's intro. It's good music.
We texted about an intro a few weeks ago, but we are busy fathers and such as we'll get an intro eventually. We'll get a podcast eventually. Not only are we busy dads, we also have full-time jobs. And like we've mentioned before, golf games that we have to work on, David. It doesn't.
That is the key. That is the key.
It doesn't.
Especially it's summer now. Got to get all the golf in that we can. Not that we have an excuse in California, but
right.
Yeah, there's really no excuse. Yeah, there's no excuse.
If anything, it's harder to play in the summer because it's so dang hot.
Yes, exactly.
Miss Lenora Dixon with an early super chat. Thank you so much. I just saw the trailer for Star Wars Ahsoka, and it's awesome. It comes out August 23rd on Disney+. We're going to talk about that Ahsoka trailer for sure. I know I'm not exactly what you would call a Star Wars expert. I've been told that many times by many people. It's not as bad as the time I tried to review an episode of Game of Thrones. I won't say that, but hey, I enjoy what I enjoy about Star Wars. Regardless, David, this is TV Talk. We're here every single Tuesday. I'm Josh Macuga, alongside the one, the only, the legend that is the pride of Western New York, wearing all of his Western New York gear today. That's David.
I feel like every time I turn on the news, I'm not a big gossip person, but Josh Allen is just everywhere right now. He's on the cover of Madden, which hopefully the Madden curse doesn't come true this year. Please. He's dating a Marvel superhero. He's in Mexico with his shirt off with Haley Steinfeld doing his thing.
Like, dating Brie Larson?
Yeah. No, a little bit young. Yeah, I keep forgetting Josh is only like 26 or 27. I keep thinking he's older, but yeah. he's huge now. So Buffalo's everywhere, which I don't know if that's a good thing. I kind of like when we're a little more below the radar, when we're like the small town that no one really thinks about. But now we're Hollywood now. So
you can also hit us up on Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. This is the channel that was the Good People Association back to the Josh Macuga Show. I'm still a good person. David is a good person. I'm still friends with and love all of you good people. And so if you want to spread the word about TV Talk, I'm also going to probably be doing some positivity reports in a little bit, just because I think the world needs a little positivity. But this is a positive show, David. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is Saudi Arabia and their entrance into the PGA Tour. Now,
we'll see if that goes through, Josh. That whole live tour thing. I don't know if that's gonna. They're gonna. I think the government's coming in for that. I don't know.
That's it.
That's a tough one.
The Saudis have their hands in basically everything we do. So I'm not going to condone all I know is that it seems like what happens in Saudi Arabia isn't that good, but they have so much money that they're in every sport and every company.
Well, let's just buy golf. Why not buy golf?
Just buy golf.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching, can you everybody tell me if that Streamlabs, is that right? Does that link work? Can you click it on your YouTube and does it go to the right place? I know I sound like a dad. I want to give a shout out. Last week, I missed 2 Streamlabs, David. One comes from the Hudsonizer, and he says, the Bear is behind, at the very least, the other 2 for best show currently airing. Very hard to compare those 2 shows. The other 2 is just a straight slapstick comedy, whereas The Bear is a great dramedy, if not just straight up drama. A season I'm really nervous for is the Wheel of Time season 2. As hyped as I was for season 1, it was average as a show and frustratingly loose as an adaptation. David, did you watch Wheel of Time?
I did. I just have no history with it. I watched it. I love Rosamund Pike. She's fantastic. I think ever since I saw her in, no, not Gone Girl, but I'm going to go old school in Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley as one of the sisters. I love her. I think she's great. She has a presence. I like the cast. The story, I'm more Lord of the Rings because I've read those books and I know that world. So Rings of Power I don't know, it just spoke to me more.
Was that the one? Was the Pride and Prejudice? Was that the one with the guy from Succession as Mr. Darcy?
Yeah. Matthew McFadden. Yeah, that was him. He was Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy. Troy in the chat says Positivity TV. Yeah, done. Let's go. Maybe that's a segment, David. Some Positivity TV things that's basically our pick of the week.
Yeah,
we've got
we're pretty positive.
On TV Talk. Miss Lenora Dixon, the Blue Beetle trailer was good too. Is that a show or a movie?
It's a movie. Yeah. It's one of those DC movies that they're kind of like not really talking much about because now there's new leadership at DC and I'd be like, oh, we're going in a different direction. Yeah, James Gunn's the leader now, and like, oh, we're going a different direction. Like, oh yeah, there's a Blue Beetle coming out, but that's fine. Don't
Got it.
It's like they overhyped the Flash, and now they're underhyping Blue Beetle. They talked about the Flash being this awesome superhero movie, and now they're not really talking about Blue Beetle. It's kind of weird.
I wonder if the Flash apparently they're going to lose around $200 million on the Flash.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, and sorry, Leo pointed out about Zolo. I really like Zolo. Did you ever watch Parenthood?
No, I didn't watch Parenthood, but I do watch Cobra Kai, and I love
Cobra Kai. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah.
Does he play the main
Beetle?
dude?
Yeah,
that's right. He is Blue Beetle. You're right.
So I'm happy for him. I hope the movie does well because I like him a lot.
And Will McLean, The Righteous Gemstones has been great, hilarious. Yeah. I have really liked this season of Righteous Gemstones. I don't even know why I still watch that show, other than because I hate every character. Like, none of the characters are likable. Not one. There's not a redeemable character in the show at all. And the ones that are redeemable get like one scene every 3 episodes. But I think that's the Danny McBride style of comedy, was like, everybody sucks, but you're going to laugh at it and watch it. Right. I think is that it? Is that the thing?
He's like they're like the lovable doofuses. I feel like that's his shtick a little bit. And Rogan does that a little bit too. Seth Rogen does that. All his characters are super lovable. Yeah, I like Danny McBride. Although I have to admit, I've only seen one season of Righteous Gemstones, so I'm a little blind.
Okay.
Blind. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Hudsonizer, for your Streamlabs. And then Lou sent us a Streamlab. Very nice. Best TV talk team ever. Thank you, Lou. That was just a very nice. And he said, I would love it if you guys were able to do a collab with John Roca. I don't talk to John Roca anymore. I don't think that's going to happen, but I wish him luck on all of his shows. I lost touch with him, so I don't know. I don't know what he does anymore. I don't.
Yeah, I think you're one of the few people from the old crew that I still talk to. I mean, I see everybody's on social media, and all that, but I feel like actively talk to. It's just Macoogs for the most part.
Thanks, buddy. We may have a special guest coming on today. I will. If it happens when I see it, right? Like that's what I'm going with. Hirogen 101 says trailer for Lioness ?
I missed it. So it's Paramount Plus. It's got Zoe Saldana, Michael Kelly from Jack Ryan, Morgan Freeman, and Nicole Kidman.
I know.
It's called Special Ops: Lioness. I'm like, ooh, that sounds right up our alley.
Is this the true story? Is this the one that's based on the true story?
I don't know anything about it.
I don't either.
It looks like Zoe Saldana's ATF.
Oh,
an ATF officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I see Michael Kelly, July 23rd. When I see Michael Kelly and Jack Ryan, I think to myself, is that how I look bald? And then I realize I have to lose about 60 pounds to look like Michael Kelly. He is so thin. He's so thin. But he's so good in Jack Ryan.
He is.
David.
I feel like I know he's one of those guys who's been around for years, but I feel like I really noticed him in on Netflix. He was in the political show with Kevin Spacey. I'm blanking
House of Cards.
House of Cards. Yeah, House of Cards.
And that's where I first saw Rachel Brosnahan. Was House of Cards.
So good. The new Lois Lane. Lois Lane.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do we think Lois is a name that you could name a current child?
I've never met a Lois. Come to think of it, I don't think I know a single Lois. I'm sure there are plenty of Loises out there, but I've never met one. Have you met a Lois, Joe?
Yeah, my cousin's grandma was Lois. On my how you have cousins that have different grandparents.
Right. I could see a grandma being Lois, but like the new generation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
like,
I don't know Lois.
I wanted to name Rosie Cheryl. That was my favorite name, and Amanda said that we were not going to name her Cheryl because that was too old of a name, and that Cheryl sounded like somebody that was in accounts payable, like in Middle America. Which again, I love the name Cheryl, and I don't want to insult anybody's name who named, but we had a big disagreement on that one. Heskel 420 knows a Lois. He knows a Lois.
He knows a Lois. Okay, all right.
My friend's wife's sister. She's 38, I think now. See, like I think
she's young. That's young.
Yeah. Claiborne Davis says, I think Family Guy and Superman took Lois out of commission. I don't know. I think Lois.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Still use a Lois.
Forgot about that. What is this? 1973.
See? No, Will McLean, Big Show Crow. No, I had an Aunt Cheryl.
Oh.
She passed away very young. I loved her. She made incredible peanut butter cookies. She was my dad's brother's wife, so my aunt. And she was, I loved, she spelled it Cheryl. Cheryl with a CH.
No, before I get off the Cheryl thing, I have two aunts that are Cheryls. One is sadly passed, but the other one is still very well alive. Yeah, two Cheryls. One of my dad's sisters and one of my mom's sisters. So two. Got it. Yeah, two Cheryls in the family.
Leo says 10-year anniversary of Orange is the New Black tomorrow. Good memories of the show. David?
I never finished it. I never finished it. I saw the first couple seasons and I liked it, but I just fell out of it. I just never finished it. So I should say I have any bad memories. I just don't think about it.
Yeah, I will say I watched the first season. I binged it. It was one of those. It was one of those early binges. It wasn't my first binge. We're gonna get into our first binges, as we're calling, later in the show. Talk about our first real binge experience. It was early on in the binge experience because it was one of Netflix's first shows. It was and one of their first big shows. And I watched the first season. Then I mildly watched the second season, and then by the third season, I was done with it. I think I was over it, and that was that.
That sounds about right. I remember I really liked. He was was he the bad guy, the guard, Pablo Schreiber? Yeah, Schreiber. Yeah, he's Master Chief now in the new Halo series, which is cool. Okay. So I'm glad to see he's doing well. There's so many good character actors in that show. I just didn't stick with it, but a lot of good actors.
Comedian, oh god, what's his name? He started, I think, in like season 3 or 4. God, what's his name? He's a very clean comedian. Mike, God, I forget. Totally forget his name. Anyway, somebody might know. Darren Wright said both my nieces are now 10 and 12, named after my grandmas, Ava and Dottie. I love the name Dottie, and I do like the name Ava. And you know what other name I love, David?
What?
I love the name Sinead. Let's go. Let's go. Hold on. I gotta take the thingy off so you're not blind.
I can't see her.
I really appreciated that intro.
I'm gonna
use Princess Peach to turn off my microphone, my camera really quick. She's got soft arms.
What is that creepy doll you've got? What is that? Oh, Princess.
What is that? It's Princess Peach, obviously.
I don't know. That is a very. Did you get that at like a carnival in like a rough part of town?
No, it's been through a lot. Hold on a second. My AirPods are not working.
Uh-oh.
See if I can get
them. Technical difficulties.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have my AirPods connected now, but if they cut out, just let me know and I'll just take them out.
Okay. Everybody's pumped to see Sinead. Everybody's pumped to see Sinead. I'm gonna take a screenshot because I'm really excited. I send out an email every week, and finally we got the lovely Sinead DeFries. Sinead, talk to us. What's going on? I don't think I haven't seen you since I left LA. One of my last times in LA was at your birthday party.
I know, it's crazy, right? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what the heck? How old are your kids, both of you? What are they, like teenagers already? They driving? What's going on?
Exactly.
Rosie,
I mean, mine's basically a teenager, honestly. So
he's growing. I've seen his pictures. He's tall. He's really growing.
Dude, he's like, the fact that he's starting the second grade, like, mentally, I still feel 24. So it's always like a weird reminder, you know?
Oh.
It's very wild. It's very wild.
Yeah. I mean, we are 10 years apart, you and I, Sinead. So, I mean, I still feel like somewhere around 29. I act like it. I know that. But then you wake up in bed in the morning, you're like, oh, God, everything hurts.
I was like playing darts and like my shoulder went out playing darts. And I was like, damn, this is not good.
Sinead, David and I were talking. We saw you on, are you on QVC now?
Who, me? Yeah. Just kidding. I'm just joking. No, yes. I actually shot a pilot for a QVC show called The Edit. And it is a take on like a live stream shopping for what QVC wants to be a much younger audience. So they're just trying new things. It was super fun. I was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, which was like
Oh, Josh
really
doesn't
cool
like
to
that
go.
though.
No, I know. I thought about you too numerous times when I was there.
Thanks.
I was like, I wonder like if it's like such a pure like ugh, if you're gonna go all the way to Pennsylvania and you gotta go to Philadelphia. I wonder if you're one of those, you know?
Yeah.
But it was good. We QVC's in Westchester and
Yeah.
it was really cute and the food was so good and it was cheap. Also, the airport in Philadelphia, there's a bar at every single gate.
Yeah, because in order to live in Philadelphia, you have to be drunk all the time.
I have never seen that. Like in any city I've ever been to, and I've been going to an airport. I was like, how is there a bar at like every single gate?
Everywhere
there is a bar.
Yeah.
It's wild. I mean, I thought it was great. I had some beer. I got a cheesesteak. It was excellent.
Living the dream. Weirdly, my college girlfriend, briefly, when I say girlfriend, I mean I had a girl I dated and then knew for a long time, still know to this day. Her dad, I think, started QVC or something like that.
Oh, really? That's so cool. No, that's so cool.
Yeah, last name's Cochran. They live in Westchester. My cousins live in Westchester, so I know that whole kind of area. You know, it's not as bad as like cute. Philadelphia. Westchester actually pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
I mean, if I go back, there's like so many things in the air right now, and like where we are going to film. But if I happen to go back, I would still want to go around Philly because there's a lot of abandoned like towns and like kind of ghost towns.
Creepy stuff.
And I'm just like super interested in that stuff. Low-key, I was really pleasantly surprised because when we were looking at Airbnbs, all that came up was like, oh, you can stay at this bed and breakfast that hasn't been touched since 1747.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I was like, I feel like this place is going to be so racist. And why is everyone celebrating the 1800s? That was a bad time. We should not be celebrating it. Why is it like, come and see this historic barn? And I was like, ugh. And then I got there and like the first thing I saw was like a huge banner to celebrate Juneteenth. And I was like, oh, this is such a nice, I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I get so scared up in those states, you know, because you never know.
It's true.
But it was so, I loved it. It was really cute and quaint. Everyone's super nice, but yeah, it was fun. Good stuff.
Good. You know, my mom and dad, well, my mom especially loves it there because she was a teacher. She was a social studies teacher. And so she did Colonial Day every year. And like, you know, she loves Revolutionary War history and all of the history around there. Cause there's all those houses were like, oh, Betsy Ross's cousin lived here. And they're still up. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was good times for sure.
Well, the chat is pumped that you're here. Rodney P has a question, Sinead. Have you watched House of Dragon? And since you're the Game of Thrones expert on TV Talk.
Yes, I am the Game of Thrones expert. Yes, of course I watched it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's been so long. It's like kind of one of those things where I'm like, oh, we're going to have to still wait really long for this. I'm going to have to rewatch it. But yeah, I mean, we watched every episode. And I will say, like, I loved it way more than I loved the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, I loved it. I loved House of the Dragon. I thought it was excellent. And I loved, which was so weird because the idea, I remember when we were approaching the episode where they, going to do the time jump and their age, I remember just being so bummed because I loved those kids. I was like, this is excellent acting. I love seeing this type of perspective where it's like, not just like angsty teens, you know, it was like a good mix of, you had some angsty, like some of the angsty sons, but then you also had like very normal ways that you could try to imagine a child would feel like in that situation. And I just loved it. And then I just was so bummed. I was like, I feel like we haven't had enough. And I was so pleasantly surprised that I thought it was the most perfect transition ever into their adult lives. And then I fell in love with who they are, like the actors and who they were as adults. And now I'm just like, I'm so excited to keep watching it, but it is such a huge bummer because there's so many characters that it would serve so nicely if it was, you know, every 6 months it was coming out.
Totally.
Because it's a lot to keep track of. But yeah, I loved it. I love, you know, the incest, like just get right in there. And I love that relationship, which is one of those things.
That's my favorite part, really, is all the family members banging each other. Yeah,
it's just it's so wild because they do such a great job of like making you root for incest, which is so messed up. Like, but you're rooting for it because you're like, oh, but this is such a great love story. It's like her uncle, and that's okay because she loves him and he loves her. Like, it's so weird. But yeah, I really, really liked it.
Sinead,
a lot.
it's just because you can't love your uncle.
No, I mean, I don't love my uncle in that way. What I'm saying is Game of Thrones is so good at doing that. It really makes you excuse all these things because that's just like, I mean, that's just their take on what all of these people were doing back then in this made up world. But it's so interesting, like how, because they explore those storylines, how much more is at stake because not only are they related, but they're so like tightly wound in all these different ways that it actually makes sense for a show like that because it just raises the stakes. It makes everyone's like mess ups and failures and relationships failing. It makes it so much worse for the bigger picture. So you root for relationships because you also don't want to see this like kingdom or this one family fall apart. It's just one of those shows that's just really, really good at balancing all of the elements.
MK Songbird brings up season 2 of House of the Dragon has continued filming, right? Imagine SAG-AFTRA strike would have an effect, though. Yeah, the strike is affecting everything. We're not going to have much fresh TV in about 6 months.
When was it originally supposed to air? Like, when was season 2 originally supposed to?
I never saw a date.
I don't think they ever had a solid date, but I think the SAG, the actors' conversations, I think it's tomorrow. They extended talks to tomorrow, the 12th. So I think by the end of the day, if they extend talks more, we'll know, I think, by tomorrow, end of day, if the actors, because the actors go on strike.
It's
nothing. I mean, because there's so much stuff that's been written already, so we can start, we can go ahead. But
right.
Yeah, that's going to be.
I mean, the last time I saw, they were like, don't expect anything
till 2024.
House of the Dragon related until late 2024, like fall. Yeah. So if you think about it, that's like over a year away. And it feels like it's already been off the air for like
a while.
So it's mind blowing. But yeah, I mean, I haven't gone on obviously like hosting stuff is non-union, but I haven't had like an acting audition in months, like legitimately months, because there's nothing happening right now.
No,
it's wild.
Well, you're here. This is happening, Sinead.
Right.
I'm here.
I would be remiss, and Claiborne Davis asks in the chat, this is my first time tuning in, so you might have covered it already, but what did you all think about the Mrs. Maisel ending? And since we watched the pilot back in the day when Amazon had you vote on pilots.
Oh, I forgot about those days. Yes, I remember that.
Oh, yeah. It was like The Flea, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, that Dick show. The Tick. Oh, same thing.
And then I Love
that
Dick.
Dick show. I Love Dick. Yep.
Yeah.
It was those three.
JCVD.
And you loved that one.
I did love that. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. That's wild.
And I remember you coming on to TV Talk like a month after you watched the pilot. And you're like, when is that show going to get a freaking season? Like,
that's how I felt every single season of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Yeah. Every single season I had to be like, okay, wait. What happened? Like, I watched so much TV, but it was like we were waiting a year in between seasons that it almost was like mind blowing when I found out that last season had dropped. I was like, whoa, like we're here already.
I know.
I thought it was incredible. Like, I thought the show was incredible. It was so beautifully done. I saw a lot of like mixed emotions. Like, some people really loved it. Some people just didn't like the way they ended it. I was at the time while I was watching it, I was like, ooh, do I want it to end this way? Is this right? Like, do I want this kind of sort of corny fast forward?
Did you like the fast forward? Amanda didn't like it at first, and then it really worked.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt. Like, as it was happening, I was like, I don't know if this is what I want, like, for this show. I don't know if I want to see this fast forward, but it just totally worked. And I feel like it made sense because had they not done that, I feel like everyone would have questioned, it would have been like a question in your head just because you knew how close they were. And then you'd be like, I feel like eventually these two would have made up, like, just because it's them. So like, I thought it was great. I loved like the interesting take they took on like Joel basically
redeemed him. They redeemed him.
They really did. And the only thing I was sad about was just that we just didn't get Zachary Levi back in there. I was rooting for just another he was
Shazam.
No, that scene where he comes into the diner and he yells at her in front of everybody is one of my favorite scenes in the entire series ever. It was like, I always knew Zachary Levi was a great actor, but I was like, oh my God, like this is so good. So I was just really hoping that somehow he would just weasel his way back in, but I really liked it.
I liked that, I cried a few times in the
Yeah.
in the second to last episode and last episode. I mean, you guys know I cry all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, I cried doing David's ceremony when I was married. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
but when I like that they just did a small snippet of the daughter being the genius, kind of neurotic
Yes.
like the mom,
Yes.
and the son just kind of being a total, not Joel so much, but just kind of a doofus, right?
Yes.
And
it was so funny too, like especially with her dad, Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
Once he found out that his granddaughter was a genius, that was so well written, where all of a sudden he was just like off. He was probably my favorite character.
Totally.
Like, just because it was hysterically written without like being like, this is your obvious comedic relief, to everything, because the whole show is funny. But that character is so well written because you believe everything that comes out of his mouth. And I believe that like he really thought like this is the child I've been waiting for. It was just so funny. They did a really good job with that.
No, you're right. Maybe the only thing I didn't love about it was the end when she walked through her like massive New York apartment. I was like, I don't know. That is way too big. I don't think a New York apartment is that big.
No.
She's really successful, Josh. She's very successful. She has a clothing line. It seems like she basically founded, talking about QVC. She's selling the stuff on. I mean, she's huge. Yeah.
Yes. The only thing I wish that they could have just explored a little bit more is I just wanted to see a little bit more of the dynamic with her and her kids, because they built up a couple of different storylines when she goes and visits the one, and he's got the girlfriend who's like super traditional, and like you can like she's just so not, and it's that seemed like it was going somewhere. And then of course like the daughter being like in therapy, I'm like, oh, there's just a little bit more I could have used with that, because the season did feel really, really short. Like it did feel short.
It did. The roast of Susie though was an incredible episode, and the way it ended
so good
was just awesome. And I don't know. I think beginning to end, the show really never had a bad season. There was never one point in the show where I was like, I'm not entertained anymore. Right. Because I think a show that you love so much up first can kind of drag a little bit at times. I'm looking at you, Walking Dead. No, but seriously, like I think Mrs. Maisel was like, okay, this is it. We've told our story, just like Succession, just like Ted Lasso, even though I think they could have done one more season of Lasso. I think they could have done one more.
You do? Really?
I think they could have done one more, but I don't think they had to. I think they could have.
Yeah.
But I don't think they had to. I think I was very satisfied with how it ended. And, if they wanted to do a spinoff with one of them, I would be totally into it. But I don't think it needs it. Whereas Maisel, like you still cared, even though you knew she became this massive success. You still cared when she went on that show and was like, I'm actually not a writer. There's this fly flying around. I'm actually not a writer. I'm a stand-up. Right.
Yes.
And and Leo says it even really well in the chat. Susie's backstory with her ex was nice. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I like that. What was I gonna say? If anyone's in the chat right now and they haven't seen it, this is great for you because you can binge it. I do believe this show would be a good binge. It's not one that you're gonna like want to sit there all day and watch. Like you can just like eat them, like up. But it would have done, I think, even better, because I do believe that a lot of people fell off of the show because they were waiting so long. And there were a couple of people I talked to that were literally like, I have to rewatch last season, because there was one year where we literally waited like a year and 2 months for a new season.
I know.
And it was hard. Like it was hard for me to get into, and I had to rewatch a couple episodes. But if anyone hasn't seen it, do yourself a favor. It's like such a great show. Like you can watch it with anyone. It's hilarious. It's loving. It's entertaining, and it's different. It's so different.
So different. I know you have a heart out here in like a minute, right, Sinead, or like right now?
Oh, actually, we're not taking Harrison to soccer anymore because he has a headache.
Oh.
So yeah, you lucked out.
Kid loves soccer. Headache. I'm out. Done.
Yeah. And it's like 147 degrees, too. So he was like, I can still go. But I was like, I'm going to be really responsible. And because I also really don't feel like going to soccer tonight. I think you should rest.
He's got to learn cricket, right? He's got to start playing some cricket.
There's
a cricket club in Pasadena, I think.
Is there?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to get that kid into any sports whatsoever, like any sports.
Does he have a passion that isn't, that isn't sports?
Yeah, it's called Nintendo 64 and Nintendo Switch and Mario and Luigi and Peach and Toad.
Hey, he likes
That's what he loves. He loves YouTube and he loves video games. Yeah. I did just buy him Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64.
Oh.
And like, I was like on the phone with someone the other day and they were like, why do your controllers look like that? I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, they look so old. I'm like, they are old. This is the Nintendo 64.
It's the legend. It's what we're all supposed to. That's when video games should have stopped. Like if the world.
I am trying to instill that in him. I'm like, look, this is what you could be playing on. Now you got a Switch and whatever else and all this other stuff. But this is what you could be playing on. You got to appreciate the things we spend money on now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sinead. I think this is right up your alley too. I know we all watched the show. So Ben Lieber says, do you think Brad Pitt's F1 film will be the downfall of Drive to Survive, or has the show already run its course altogether? Good pun, solid pun. I don't think so. I loved last season of Drive to Survive. I thought it was fantastic. And so I know, and I even watched because of DraftKings. Thank you, sports gambling. I know what's going on in F1 now, but I still want to watch everything behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I watch all of it. I watch all the practices, qualifying, race day. Anytime it's race weekend, I am glued to the TV. And without a doubt, the first time I watched Drive to Survive, I wasn't watching F1.
Yeah.
And then the next season, I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, they're filming the next season and the races are on. So is this something like, should I watch this before? I was worried that it was going to ruin the show for me because I obviously started with Drive to Survive, which, a lot of like hardcore F1 fans like hate all of this extra whatever, especially this movie that they're making. And I get it. Like I can understand that, but also if this is a great sport, you want it to get bigger. I started with Drive to Survive. And after that first year, I never, ever didn't watch F1, So like I enjoyed all the races and everything. And then when Drive to Survive comes out, I'm just as excited. It doesn't change it. So I don't think a movie's going to do that. I think Drive to Survive running its course, no, because it's a sport. Like it's always going to evolve. There's always new drivers. There's always new drama. So I don't think it's run its course, but I would like to see, it also change as people are becoming more and more familiar with the Drive to Survive formula, which really works for them. But it would be interesting, like last season when they had that back and forth between the old Ferrari team principal and Gunther, the two of them, Binotto and Gunther, the two of them driving around and
that little car.
I loved that. And I was like, oh my God, they just humanized, like Gunther is the best, but like they humanized.
Oh, fucking hell, Gene. What the fuck?
And he has so much personality, but they really humanized all of the other characters a lot without them having to have big personalities. So I think more eyes on F1, the better. The harder it is going to get tickets, which is a huge bummer because I still haven't been to a race, but I am such a hardcore fan that literally they could come out with like 14 movies and a mini series and a musical. And I would still.
I'm out on the musical, Sinead. I'm out.
Sinead, you could go to Vegas. They're coming to Vegas this year. It's going to be the first ever race in Vegas. Yeah.
I know. I'm so excited. I was in Vegas and I saw them building it and I was just looking over the fence and Mills was like, we got to go, Sinead. Like you got to get it together. And it looked like absolute crap too. It was like, just like nothing was done. I see that they made a lot of progress, but it was just like steel beams and they had put some windows in and I was like, it's beautiful. Like this is going to be so incredible. And
Let's say a quick story about, I don't know if you probably didn't notice, but it was during the Monaco race. And they have, it's all UK, it's all a British team, down there doing all the interviews with the celebrities. And this guy, he was an older gentleman, so I'm sure he doesn't know all the celebrities, but they had the cast of the new Gran Turismo movie there. I don't think he knew that they were there for that.
Is it the Cara Delevingne thing?
No, not that. No.
It was probably Martin Brundle. Is he like a white man with gray hair?
I think so. Yeah. Older guy. So
literally, we call him Bumbling Brundle because he doesn't know who anybody is.
Yeah,
It's
so
hilarious.
he's trying to find celebrities, and he goes by David Harbour, Mr. Stranger Things himself, Hellboy, and he doesn't push him out of the way, but he kind of does one of these, like, excuse me, and then like he puts the microphone in front of Orlando Bloom. No hate on Orlando Bloom. David Harbour and Orlando, they're all in the new Gran Turismo. That's why they're all hanging out there.
Yeah,
but he kind of pushes David Harbour out of the way, and Harbour, like, he just is like, that's David Harbour. Why don't you talk to him? I mean, no offense to Orlando Bloom, but come on, David Harbour's a celebrity. He just brushed past him like he was no one.
So funny.
Like, come on.
Yeah, no, he's like known for that too. There was like a huge moment, I think last year also, and I think it was Austin.
Yeah, when he's just walking through and he's like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he
Ferrari.
So in that Monaco, I don't know if you know soccer or football players, but he interviewed, I think it was Thibaut Courtois, who plays for Real Madrid, used to play for Chelsea, and he asked him if he was excited about any of the Spanish racers, and Thibaut looked at him and he says, I'm not from Spain. And he's like, and then he was like, oh, but he plays for Real Madrid, but he's like, I'm not Spanish, kind of. It's like, this guy doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know anything. No. I can do his job. I can do that.
I know, it's like hilarious to me because it is like he literally doesn't know people, and it's like a thing. Like if you go on Twitter, like people are talking about Martin Brundle, just like walking around not knowing what he's talking about. It's great.
He is funny though. It cracked me up. I was cracking up watching.
I want every sport to have an old guy doing that kind of stuff. Like, who are you?
Dude,
okay,
great. The Miami ones are the best. Like anytime there's a Miami race, do yourself a favor, watch the pre-show for that because there's always it's always so star-studded. But he is the funniest to watch in the Miami pre-show because it's like celebrity, and the amount of people you can just tell he's like he's trying to decide like if he's supposed to talk to that person because like maybe they look familiar to him and it's like somebody huge and everyone knows that his camera guy's like, it's just so good. It's so good.
Sinead, David and I were going to talk about, we haven't gotten to any of the news yet, but we were going to talk about our first binge. Do you remember your first binge? Like your first big binge show?
Binge.
And then we'll get
probably back in high school. And I'm sure it was One Tree Hill.
Oh.
Like you went back and was it available on a service?
Yes, because it was, I think like maybe it was like before some of the newer seasons were starting, but it was one summer I remember. And there was at least a few seasons, but I remember being like 15 or 16 and seriously, like I did not move for like weeks. And it was like, if I had plans, I'd be like, damn it. Like, I don't want to stop watching One Tree Hill. But I think that was the first time I actually sat down and watched a show. If you mean binge, like you're consuming it all day, every day for like an entire summer break. I watched like 3 or 4 seasons of it. And that was probably the first one I can remember.
Okay. David, what was yours?
My first was in college, and my friend, so this was before the streaming days, but my friend had some, those DVD box sets. And he came my freshman year in college, he came back, and he's like, dude, I got this Sopranos show, man. Check out Sopranos. I think I had heard of it, but again, I was 17, 18. I was just getting into college. So I wasn't really worried about what was on HBO at the time. That was kind of my last thought. And I just got hooked. We had pizza and some beers. I think we went through the whole set, that whole disc, that whole set all in one night. And then I got hooked. I got HBO. I could get it through my dorm somehow. You had to pay like a few bucks extra. Yeah. And then after that, that just got me on my TV journey of just being hooked on. Then of like leading into like Rome and Band of Brothers and all these HBO shows after that, Deadwood. But that got me hooked, like old school Sopranos box sets. And we binged them. We sat there and just kept putting disc in after disc, just watching them. I mean, now it's so easy to binge, but back then, Sopranos was my first for sure.
Will McLean in chat says House of Cards. Troy said when I first got Netflix, I watched Psych in pretty short order. Red is not a flavor says mine was Naruto anime. That's over my head.
Naruto. I like the way you say that. Naruto.
Naruto. He's down there.
Isn't it like Naruto? Isn't it just like Naruto?
Naruto. Naruto is going to work for me, dog. I don't know. Jonathan Peck said the first 8 seasons of Survivor. Holy shit, man! Darren Wright, this is a good old OC days. It did all 4 seasons of Stranger Things in one weekend off. David, you say Sopranos. Mine was The Wire. I watched all of The Wire on DVD, and then was able to go right into the final season live. So I watched all of
very
Wire,
cool. Okay.
And then Sopranos did it. It was all those early HBO shows. My first Netflix binge was definitely House of Cards. Like I watched this House of Cards. I felt sick to my stomach. Never want to watch it again. And then another early binge, we talked about it earlier, was Orange is the New Black. That was an early binge.
Yeah. And I think watching all those 24. Yeah. 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one for me was in the old Netflix days before you could stream the shows.
DVDs.
Remember, we just had the disc. So I started watching Battlestar Galactica, the newer version that came out like in 03 or 04. And I was a few seasons behind. I think the last season was about to air. And I kept like sending discs back. And I remember I subscribed to like the 3 discs at a time version or whatever. You could get the max. So, like I need as many discs as I can get as possible to watch this show. So yeah, that was another binge before you could stream.
Did you guys ever watch the Larry Sanders Show on HBO?
No, I missed that one.
Okay, so it was one of HBO's first comedies, original programming. Gary Shandling plays Larry Sanders. It's basically, he's a talk show host, a late night talk show host. And the amount of cameos of young actors is incredible. It's when Jeremy Piven didn't have hair. He was a writer on the Larry Sanders Show. He was the actor of the writer. It's Rip Torn. It's fantastic. I highly recommend Larry Sanders Show. All right, Sinead, before we let you go, what are you watching right now? What are the shows you're currently watching that you're obsessed with? Please tell me you're watching The Bear and that you love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am watching The Bear. We are
It's Chicago. You should be, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's your home
episode like 4 or 5
of this season.
Yes.
Okay.
They dropped the whole season or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah. Because I was like, we must not be caught up because it just keeps letting us watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think last night we watched episode. Oh, it was episode which one is Jamie Lee Curtis in? Is that episode 4?
6.
6. Wow.
Yeah.
See, this
The
is
Christmas
scary because
episode.
I'm watching it too fast. I'm watching it too fast. It's gonna be over soon, isn't it? Like, is it like 8 episodes?
10. It's 10.
Yeah.
But
okay,
the ending flies. I would tell you what, that Christmas episode, I still think about it and get extreme anxiety. Like extreme.
Oh, it made me horribly uncomfortable. I started playing Free Cell on my phone like halfway through it because I was like, I need to like literally, it was giving me anxiety. So I'm watching that. I started The Sopranos. I told you that. Started Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Where are you?
But then I took a break. Well, then I took a break because the Ted Lasso and Maisel came, and I was like, I want to put my focus into watching these shows that I've watched since the beginning, and it was the final seasons or whatever. Yeah. And then now it's been harder for me to get back into it because it's just one of those shows, like once you sit down and start watching it, you just keep watching it, I mean, like truly. So I was to the point where I was watching 4 or 5 episodes a day, and I was staying up until like 3 a.m. And I was like, I can't do this again. And then I also, funny you guys talked about this, but I also watched the first episode of The Wire because I've never seen that. Yeah. So I watched the first episode of that, and then I was like, Sinead, you have to go back to Sopranos because I watched The Wire and I was like, oh God, like it was so good.
You're both incredible, yeah.
And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? Because I'm already like a couple seasons into Sopranos, but it was you. I think you told me second season is a little tough. Like there's a couple moments in there where I was like, it was just a little bit hard. But I know
season 3 is my favorite of Sopranos. I love season 3.
And that's what everyone keeps saying is like, just get through season 2. It's a little bit tough, but it just like picks up and it just is full steam ahead. So I'm gonna get back into Sopranos. But yeah, The Bear is like my current show right now that I'm watching and loving.
Oh man, it's just so good. Just so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Sinead, when can you come back on again and see us? I know your schedule's crazy and I know you're always all over the place, but this is your home, so you're always welcome here.
Yeah, I mean, like on Tuesdays, like Harrison, in theory, has soccer practice. So we usually leave around like 5:45 or 5:35. So if I can, at least now that's because he has soccer practice, that's actually opened up my Tuesdays. Oh, nice. So it's opened up my Tuesday afternoons at least. So at least maybe it's just I wouldn't be able to put this much time into it next time, but maybe I can pop on for like 10 minutes every week, Well,
you're always welcome, and we love having you, and we miss you, and you really make us look that much better because you're such.
You guys, this trio right here, we look so good together.
Crushing.
Let's take it on the road.
Let's go.
That would be great.
You go on the road trip, Sinead, you are like a Michael Mann movie. Every time you go on the road, it's like neon lights, like flash fade, good camera, bad camera, good camera, lighting. I'm like, what the? Amanda's like, you need to be better on road trips. I'm like, I am driving the fucking car.
Oh yeah, no, I have it all, but I love road trips. It's my favorite thing in the world. My favorite thing. Do you guys know there's a volcano in California? Because
what?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. That was the last road trip. I found this thing that was like, looks like there's a volcano in California. We went to it. It's massive. And you can literally walk on the lava field. Like, it is huge. And it's a massive volcano. And it's in Amboy. It's like 2 hours away from LA. And it is so worth the drive. It is stunning, beautiful. That's why I fell in love with road trips. Like, because it's just so cool to find new things that you just would never know is there.
Haskell 420 says, Josh, have Sinead get Futility on QVC. Sinead, do you even have a copy of Futility?
I don't.
I got to get you a copy of Futility. I'm coming to LA in like a month. I'm going to stop and see David, stop and see you. And not in a week, in like a month or two. I don't know. Sometime in September. I got to like, Amanda has me bartending her best friend's bridal shower or something, and I have to wear a bow tie. That's all I know. I'm hoping I have to wear a shirt as well, because nobody wants to see what's under here. Let's be honest. It's a lot.
You do love a bow tie.
It's a lot of man under there.
Yeah, I do love that bow tie. Sinead, on your next road trip, please come up and visit us. Harrison can ride a horse and hang out and do his thing.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we have plans, actually. We've already been kind of planning it out to see like where we're going to go. We're going to Solvang this week.
Nice.
Okay.
There's not much
wine.
in Solvang.
Yeah. A good wine.
Just some wine and some.
Yeah, but we're taking the kid and the dog, so it's like, but you know, it's fine. He'll like it. And then we were thinking about going back to San Luis Obispo. And then once I'm in San Luis Obispo, like, how far am I from you?
An hour and a half.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, come on up. Yeah,
I will.
You guys can crash in our little, where I am right now. This is our little guest area. So
nice.
Kick it.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I'll keep you posted for sure. But yeah, let me know when you're in town. I'm just like talking to you as if we're not on the show. Shoot me a text. Let's get lunch, you know.
Oh man, Sinead, you're the best. Thank you for stopping in. We miss you, and give the family our best, and you know, keep crushing it. Maybe I'll get a QVC subscription if you're on there.
Yay! It's actually free. It's free to download. You don't have to even subscribe. You can just download it and watch it for free.
David and I just troll the comments. What's her name? Talking about Sinead. Was she on a show called TV Talk? What's going on?
I heard they go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Oh my God. On a YouTube channel?
Here's the link in case you were wondering.
Love you, Sinead. See ya.
Love you too.
Bye, Sinead. Bye.
Man. The Shenanigans.
reunion.
The reunion.
The old days.
It's just the best. Okay. Let's should we do some new? We went to our binge.
Gosh, we got to move through this. We got
11.
We got to do like speed. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Why do I even put together a rundown, David?
It's good, but it's good to fall back on in case you wanted things to rant on. We can always fall back on the outline,
just in case. Okay, here we go. I don't know if anybody threw in. Anybody throwing a StreamYard? Anybody?
There was one earlier. Did we talk about? Oh, Ahsoka. Miss Lenora.
Oh yeah, we
Dixon.
never got to Ahsoka.
We never talked about Ahsoka. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk Ahsoka because we just watched that trailer. Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on. Do I need to have watched The Mandalorians to get there? As I haven't watched the most recent season of The Mandalorian. Maybe I should go and watch that.
Well, if you're only one season back, you might as well. But I don't think you need to, because Ahsoka kind of has it's going along. It'd be more pertinent for you to watch Star Wars Rebels, which I'm not saying you have to go in and watch however many seasons are of that. But I think you're fine, Josh. You're good.
Okay. What do you think about this trailer? I'm pumped. Give me lightsabers. Give me all of the lightsabers.
Yeah. I love Ahsoka's dual wielding, the kind of the white lightsabers that she has. It's really sad, you know, because Ray Stevenson, the great Ray Stevenson, passed a few months ago. He was in HBO's Rome. He was the Punisher. Wait, did I say his name right? Yeah, Ray Stevenson. No, he's the guy with the beard.
Oh, got it.
He's one of those like. Thrawn? No, he's not Thrawn. I forgot. I don't know what his character's name is, but he has the red lightsaber. It's almost like an orangey red lightsaber.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Ray Stevenson, but he passed a few months ago. Ray Stevenson. Okay. Yeah, and he's in there, so I'm glad to see him. It's just sad that he's not going to be in any more Star Wars after this, but he was great. He's a really good actor.
Okay. I'm pumped.
I'm excited for it. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I thought it was a great trailer. I thought it was all awesome. Let's go. You know what? let's call an audible here. Let's talk Emmys since the
we should.
come out tomorrow. Let's do prediction.
Yeah.
I think this is relatively easy, David.
Yeah, so for those of you who are wondering, the Emmys are super confusing in terms of the rules, what can be nominated, what can't be nominated. The rule is it's got to premiere or air by June 1st of last year of 2022, and then by May 31st of 2023. So the Bear season 2 is not eligible. So anything that came after June last year and premiered before May 31st is eligible. So, I mean, a lot of the people are talking about Andor, for best drama. You got Better Call Saul, The Crown. I'm just throwing some names out. The Last of Us, 1923 on Paramount Plus, Succession, of course, The White Lotus, Yellow Jackets. Those are some of the names being thrown around for best drama. These are just predictions. Tomorrow is going to get the real news. Yeah. And then go through
Well, I would imagine Succession gets nominated for everything.
For sure. For sure.
Best drama. Best actress in Shiv, supporting actress probably in the woman that plays the lawyer. God, I forget that actress's name. I mean, all 3 men are going to get nominations. Do they put Tom in a lead actor category, or do they? So
no, he would be supported, but I guess the buzz is going around that Kieran would actually be in for lead, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I would.
That's a Culkin or something. Yeah, he would actually. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Leo saying Poker Face better be swimming in comedy noms. I doubt it gets nominated for one thing.
So again, so predictions. People have Abbott, Barry, The Bear, but this is season 1 of The Bear. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Only Murders in the Building, Poker Face, Ted Lasso, and Wednesday. These are just predictions again.
Okay.
Those are some of the contenders.
I cannot.
Oh, Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
Patrick Stewart for what?
Picard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The final season. He was very good. I doubt it.
Okay.
Maybe, but he was very good.
I really did not like Poker Face at all. I was that show here's the thing. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't for me. I don't like shows when you know how she's going to solve it every time.
Mm-hmm.
I
enjoyed it. I liked it.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you can't, David. Okay.
Don't yell, Josh. Don't yell. I'm sensitive. I'm sorry. No, for best actor, it would be Brian Cox. I'm sorry. So just some predictions for best actor in the drama: Brian Cox, Kieran Culkin, Harrison Ford, Bob Odenkirk, Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us, and Jeremy Strong. That's insane. So for best actor in the same they're predicting. Right. Yeah. So 1, 2. So 3 of them. Yeah. 3 of the family. Yeah. Wow. 3 of the guys in one category. It's crazy.
The Bear season 1 has already won awards. The lead won best actor. No, he didn't win an Emmy. He won a Golden Globe. Just a heads up.
Yeah. It's so confusing. So what's weird is like The Bear will get nominated now and probably win, and it'll also get nominated next year too. That's the Emmys and Golden Globe. It's so confusing.
JL says, how about Winning Time? John C. Reilly is Dr. Jerry Buss. Ooh. That would be in limited series, I think.
I believe so, yes.
But I think they're getting a season 2, so that would cancel that out.
Yeah, I don't think it's because that is it's always so confusing.
He was great in that role.
Because I remember like back in the day, I mean, I was a big Downton Abbey fan. Downton Abbey would always be in the limited.
Yes. Right.
No.
It
wasn't it when it first came out? I think so. Downton Abbey. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Go
ahead. I think I think Ted Lasso will probably sweep comedies, right? Like I think.
Probably. Yeah.
What else are they
Ted
saying?
Lasso.
Yeah.
So for comedy, we have Abbott. Yeah, that's what's crazy too about The Bear, because The Bear is less than an hour. It's technically a comedy, which that always I don't like that. Anyway, Abbott Elementary, Barry, The Bear, Maisel, Murders in the Building, Poker Face, Ted Lasso, and Wednesday.
I think that there needs to be a dramedy category, to be honest with you.
I like dramedy, yeah.
I laugh maybe once every couple episodes in The Bear. I laugh once every couple episodes of Barry. I laugh all the time at Abbott Elementary. I think there needs to be some distinction here, because it's really hard for a comedy to compete against the dramedy. It is, because it's just a whole different ball game.
Agreed. Because the cast in Abbott Elementary is outstanding. It's just that The Bear is just doing so much. Abbott's a straightforward comedy, whereas The Bear is just doing so much it's tough for them to compete. It's like the Golden Globes with their comedy and musical award. It's like
totally, It's just trying to jam in more stuff in there, which I kind of appreciate. I mean, they don't need to show best director and all that kind of stuff on just for the Emmy Awards. Just do actor, actress, guest actor, whatever shows, and have more categories so that we just see the stars. That's all people want to see in award shows, right?
Right.
Leo says, I will riot if Wednesday gets a nomination to Best Comedy. I'll be honest, I didn't watch Wednesday. I think Amanda did and said she enjoyed it, but that show just, I mean, I'm not a teenager and I don't like the Addams Family, so nothing about that really appealed to me. I like, what do I care?
Justin, did you watch The Patient on FX/Hulu with Steve Carell?
No, should I have?
It's really good. Yeah, it's one off. It's a limit. I'm just seeing all the predictions, and Carell's up potentially for lead actor. It's him and Donald Gleason, Brendan Gleason's son. It's a cool thriller. Those two together are great. It's a thriller. Yeah, I would call it a thriller. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, drama thriller. Yeah.
Okay. Darren Wright said they could possibly broaden the categories like geek stuff, etc. In the UK, we have a separate awards for soap operas and comedy. So do we. Like we have the daytime Emmys for the soap operas. I mean, a comedy Emmys could be a ton of fun, I think. Because here's the thing: Last of Us will get nominated for a bunch of stuff. I doubt it'll win for anything.
Yeah.
Just because of the year and what it's up against. Maybe Pedro Pascal has a chance to sneak out something, but up against what he is with all the Succession and the end season of Succession and all that kind of stuff, I don't think he wins. Yeah.
You know what's really cool? The Emmys have a guest actor category, which you could kind of maybe that's where one of those shows could sneak in. So potentially for Last of Us, you have Murray Bartlett. Yeah. You also have Nick Offerman for that episode. So maybe one of those guys could sneak in for The Last of Us in the guest actor category.
Totally.
We'll see.
Yeah. And MK Songbird saying, I bet rooting for Rhea Seehorn. Again, an unbelievable performance in Better Call Saul that will probably go unwon because she's up against Succession.
Didn't she win last year, though, Josh? Didn't she get one finally? I thought she got one finally.
Somebody tell me if, DDLD says Jamie Lee Curtis' performance in The Bear should be nominated. It's not only going to get nominated, it's not even close. It's going to win. It's going to win. But that's next year's Emmy. It won't be this year's Emmy.
Right.
Because it's Bear season 2. So that'll go on next year's. It'll be so long ago, you'll forget who she was and you have to rewatch the episode. But that performance, I mean, as soon as the episode was over, I was like, just give her all the Emmys. I mean, it's easy. Pedro Pascal should get an Emmy for phoning in lines for The Mandalorian while actually acting in The Last of Us. That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. I mean, so did Rhea Seehorn win?
I can't find
Jonathan Peck said, will Better Call Saul get something or always be the bridesmaid but never the bride? Yeah, I think so.
I thought she gave a speech. All these shows I get mixed up and I can't. No, sorry, she has not won. She's been nominated for 2. She has not won an Emmy yet. Yeah, Rhea's not have one yet. She deserves it, though, definitely.
She does. And this season of Better Call Saul was her best season. And that's saying something because she's been brilliant the whole friggin' show.
Yeah.
But, Better Call Saul, unfortunately, I think was marketed wrong. And everybody had so much Breaking Bad fatigue that they were like, I don't want to do it. Instead of being like, it's a spinoff, it was a Breaking Bad prequel is what it was. Yeah. And that's what they should have marketed it as. And they didn't.
Yeah. And I feel like, and not pick Breaking Bad is an incredible show.
Sure.
But I feel like Better Call Saul might have been more consistent all the way through. There were less highs and it was just really solid all the way through, excellent all the way through. I think it's because Vince Gilligan and his team, those guys had time, they're experienced showrunners. They know what they're doing. I mean, Gilligan even passed showrunning duties off, I think, to Peter Gold, who kind of took over. And it was one of my favorite shows. That whole series is just awesome. Even El Camino, which I know El Camino, the Netflix movie compared to, I still liked it. Liked it.
Yeah. I think that Breaking Bad had the better story per se, whereas I think Better Call Saul was the better show.
Yeah.
I know it's a weird distinction.
I like that.
Kind of follow me on that one, but that's my thought on it.
And one more show to talk about on the Emmys that always does really, don't forget about The Crown.
Yeah.
And The Crown, that's going to probably get a few, I would think. Probably.
I haven't watched The Crown all the way through since season 2. I know.
Ooh.
I know.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
I mean, there's just so much good TV. You can't nominate everything. That's the problem.
Yes.
That's the problem, David. That's the problem. But we don't have a problem because the show is ending. We didn't get to our Bluey season 1, episode 2 review. We'll do that next week.
We can talk about Hijack. Watch Hijack.
Yeah. Oh,
watch Hijack.
I should have told Sinead to watch Hijack. Son of a B. Hijack is so good, David. It's so good. Idris Elba is so good. I don't know where the show's going. I love it so much. It's so good.
It's Idris Elba on a plane making things happen. Just watch it. It's on Apple TV Plus. For those who are wondering, it's very good. Check it out.
Okay. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you for the people that brought in super chats to Streamlabs, although I don't think we got any Streamlabs. But David and I do this because we love it and we love talking, and we live at different parts of the state now, and so we can't be in person, but we will be here virtually for all of you every Tuesday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is TV Talk. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Macuga, at Griffin DE, ask us questions, send it in. Oh, we got to do a pick of the week. David, your
week
is what?
Foundation season 2 on Apple TV Plus. I feel like I'm a spokesperson for Apple. Premieres on the 14th. I think that's Friday. Season 1. If you ask me, Josh, what is that show about? I don't know. It is very confusing, but it's a huge, big sci-fi space opera type show that I love. I love the cast and it's gorgeous. It looks like they spent millions and millions of dollars on it, which I'm sure they did. It's very good. Foundation season 2 coming out this Friday. I think it's Friday.
Okay. Lee Pace. Yeah. Is that a Lee Pace?
Lee Pace is excellent. Not Ed Harris. It's a Harris in there. One of the Harrises.
Harris.
I'm blanking. It's not Ed Harris. Why can't I think of his name?
Gina Harris.
It's one of the. He was in Chernobyl. He was the main guy in Chernobyl. One of the main. I'm blanking on his name, but he's also good. Yeah. Watch Foundation.
Got it. Foundation.
What about you, Josh?
It's an old show, but watch Justified, because the new Justified City Primeval is coming out. If you've never watched Justified, it is worth it. It justifies your time. Okay. Yes. And that is a great binge. I binged that whole show. I loved every second of it. And I can't wait for this Justified City Primeval.
I think that's also Friday on the 14th. I think they're both on July 14th. It's going to be a good Friday. A lot of good TV to watch on Friday.
Hold on. I think it says.
Where's it next week?
July 18th.
Oh, man. Week off. Okay. Way off. Next week.
Jared Harris. Boom.
Jared Harris. Thank you. Thank you, MK Songbird. I knew it was one of the Harrises.
Jared Harris. Thank you, everybody, for watching us and being here, and for all your support. We'll see you next Tuesday. Until then, wait, I got to get the thing, so we got it.
A little.
Yeah. Choose positivity. Okay. Call somebody, text them, tell them you love them. It matters. It's way easier to love than hate. Find the good. Put down the book. Pick up the remote. We'll see you next time.